You're here listening to the Soul Expansion Podcast because intuitively you know there's more to life. There's something more here. And truthfully, we access that something more in our own bodies, in our own souls. We have all the wisdom we need. And when we can access this within ourselves, business, money, impact, and every area of our life becomes so much more easeful, relaxed, and abundant. My name is Kristen Kaczynski, and I'm here as your guide and your host, but this is your journey, so let the journey begin. Hello, and welcome back to the Soul Expansion Podcast. I want to apologize if you hear a bit of an echo or if it just sounds like the quality of the sound is not as amazing as it normally is. I'm currently sitting here in my Long Island, New York apartment on an air mattress with my dog Leo laying on the air mattress next to me, but with no other furniture in this apartment. It's kind of funny. Since we are moving to Miami, Florida, the way the move worked out, we had to send our furniture ahead of us, right? So we leave in a couple days for our road trip from New York down to Miami. But in the meantime, I am here in my apartment with no furniture other than an air mattress and a camp chair and a beach chair and a table or two that we are going to throw away that we're not moving to Miami. And it's interesting. I've been alone with my dogs and my thoughts for a couple days now, and it's actually been a really restorative process. I've been meditating and journaling a lot and really coming home to myself a lot since there's no other distractions. But the sound quality may not be ideal. So thank you in advance for your understanding. Today on the Soul Expansion Podcast, I wanted to talk about something that is it's something I get asked a lot. And actually, one of the listeners did request me to talk about this. And it's how to start to weave in spirituality and manifestation practices in a way that's doable on a day-to-day basis. And so I wanted to just share some things that work for me and how I've been able to incorporate this more in my day-to-day life. If you're someone who is wanting more of a structure to this, then highly recommend you join the Soul Expansion membership. That's mysoulexpansion.com. That's where I release monthly healings and awakening practices that are all geared toward helping you open up to your truth of abundance, love, empowerment, joy, all the good feelings that allow us to be in a flow with manifestation in our business. So the Soul Expansion membership was originally designed for business owners, but over time it's kind of become this I don't know, this like microcosm of manifestation energetics and love and spiritual awakening and healing. So it's kind of geared toward anyone who I would say enjoys this podcast. However, there are elements of it that are geared toward business owners. So if it's something you've been curious about, I definitely encourage you sign up and give it a try. The minimum right now is only 3 months, so you can sign up for 3 months and it's $111 per month. Try it out, see how you like it. And, you can always cancel after the 3rd month. But the Soul Expansion membership is really where I'm able to share things that you can incorporate in a more structured way so that you can be continuing to open yourself up to your truth of abundance, joy, love, overflow, all of these wonderful things that we all want to feel. So that's mysoulexpansion.com if you're interested in learning more about that. But what I wanted to share today was some simple things you can bring into your day-to-day life that will allow you to be in a flow with your spirituality and your manifestation. And these are things that have worked for me. So try them out, feel into them, think about your own lifestyle, your own day-to-day, and see what you can take from what I'm sharing and make it your own. With anything like a daily routine or a step-by-step thing, I'm always of the belief like we get so much more out of it if we're able to make it our own. So use this as inspiration, but don't feel like you have to do things in the way that I'm describing. These are just ideas to help you get the juices flowing. So, one of the things that I find to be really helpful is every morning, what I'm doing right now is I'm just aligning with what I want to call in for the day, the week, the month, or the year. Um, and right now, I'm kind of on like a monthly cadence and a yearly cadence. But there's some things where I'm like, I just really want to sign 2 clients today, or I really want to sign 3 clients today. So there are some things where I'm feeling into it as part of like the day. What I would say about time is one of those edges that I'm in a constant flow with. And what's working for me right now is kind of focusing on, okay, what do I want to feel into right now to be able to receive? I mean, I want to feel the feelings of receiving it now, but my energy allows it to come in over a period of time. So what the hell do I mean by that? So like today I wrote down, what do I need to do to feel open and available to receiving 20K today? And so I kind of journaled on that for a few minutes. And I got to this place of realizing like, oh no, I feel good. I'm open to this 20K today. So I'm open to this 20K today. And I'm also not putting all this pressure on myself to receive the 20K today. However, my expectation is that I'll receive it within the week. So that's kind of what I've been playing with when it comes to time, is feeling the feelings of having it now and receiving it now, but letting the actual timing be kind of fluid in alignment with whatever the universe is doing on my behalf. So every morning I, figure out what my intentions are, figure out what I'm wanting to call in. Usually I know what it is if I've done my monthly and yearly intentions, which at this point in the year I definitely have. And I, feel into the feelings of what it would feel like to have it now. And then from that state, when I'm feeling the feelings of what it feels like to have it now, my next step, the next thing that I do is I ask myself, or I mean, more accurately, I ask my higher power, what would you have me do? What is my next step here? What will put me into alignment with this? What action step is going to speak to the types of clients I want to call in? How can I continue to be a match for this, right? So I'll kind of like ask those questions in my journal, and then I usually end up meditating on those questions, and that's where I receive guidance. However, sometimes I receive guidance through automatic writing, and automatic writing is where you ask a question to some sort of spiritual higher power, whether that's your spirit guides or your higher self or God or universe or whatever higher power you like to connect with. And you ask the question, and then you kind of like give over your hand to the spiritual guidance, right? So you let your hand write without thinking. And that's what we call automatic writing. So sometimes I do automatic writing. However, I find I get the most clarity when I meditate. At least the way it works for me, I find it's a lot easier to help my ego get out of the way if I drop into a meditative state versus trying to like get my ego out of the way to let my hand write. So that's what's been working for me. And then typically I will do those actions. So that's what I consider to be inspired action. When I'm in the feelings of what I desire and I ask for guidance on my next steps, the next steps that come through that process for me seem to be the shortcuts, seem to be my inspired action, my inspired guidance from my higher power. So if I'm already in a state of overflow and abundance and feeling worthy and feeling good, then I'll go ahead and do those actions from that state. If I'm having an off day where I don't feel as abundant, or I feel kind of down on myself, or I'm feeling like maybe I'm in a scarcity energy, then what I typically will do is I'll do a healing either from Soul Expansion membership, or I'll just guide myself into a meditation to kind of like get myself right, is what I call it. Not that I'm wrong to be in a scarcity energy, but I don't know. That's just the phrasing that comes to mind. I get myself right. And then once I'm in a positive energy, and positive energy doesn't necessarily mean like happy. It's more like I feel worthy. I feel good. I know I'm good enough, right? And you can feel good enough and be in a bad mood. You can feel good enough and be sad, right? So it's not necessarily directly tied to my emotions, But what it is it's this deep feeling inside my bones, inside my heart space that I am good enough and I don't have to reach outside of myself in order to be good enough. Once I'm in that good enough energy, then I do all my inspired actions. So if I'm not naturally in that energy when I wake up, which, for a long time, I had to really calibrate myself to this state, then I'll do a Healing from Soul Expansion membership or drop into a meditation or journal it out or go for a walk until I feel good enough. So that's kind of like my morning process. And then throughout my day, I really am like a go with the flow type of creative. So I'll do my inspired guidance. I don't put pressure on myself to accomplish certain things on certain days. Like I'm recording this podcast because I felt inspired to record this podcast, not because I have it on my calendar to record on this specific day at this specific time. So I really do give myself lots of room to be creative, to change my mind, to get into a flow with things, or to not work at all, right? I give myself full creative license to design my schedule other than like scheduled calls, like with clients or my team. So I go throughout my day, I do my things, and typically, some point during the day, I walk my dogs. I have 2 dogs, and one of them's a puppy, and he needs a lot of exercise. And so this is one of those things where maybe you don't walk your dogs, but maybe this example that I'm going to give you is going to line up with something else that you do in your day-to-day that you're already doing that you can start to use as a manifestation embodiment practice. So when I walk my dogs, before, the way I used to walk my dogs was from this energy of I got to get back to work, I got to get back to the business, there's so much I have to do. And I just wouldn't really let myself enjoy the motherfucking walk. And so that walk every day with my dogs was like this perpetuation of this pattern that I was unworthy. I had to do more to be worthy. I had to do to receive, etc. And so, I was going on this walk with my head completely somewhere else. I wasn't living in the present moment. And I was feeling bad about myself the entire time. I was feeling guilty for walking my dogs, right? And so that was like the old Kristen. The new Kristen takes her walks very intentionally. So the way I walk my dogs now, I'll either catch up on a course or like an audiobook that is something that I'm currently working on and working through and processing and embodying. That's one option. Another option is I'll walk my dogs with the intention to feel as abundant and overflowing as possible. So right now, when I'm recording this, it's springtime, and this is like the perfect example of this. So the energy I've been holding as I walk my dogs is like every flower I see is $10,000 coming to me. And there's a lot of fucking flowers right now. It's springtime in New York. So I'm walking around and I'm seeing like thousands of flowers. And every time I see these flowers, I'm like, oh, that's $10,000 coming to me. Oh, that's $10,000 coming to me. Oh, that's $10,000 coming to me. And it's kind of silly, and it kind of feels like a game, and it kind of feels like pretend. But this is honestly a simple way to start to feel the vibe of abundance in a natural day-to-day activity that you're already doing. You may have heard me say on a previous podcast that I used to wash my dishes, such a mundane activity that we usually don't like to do. I used to wash my dishes imagining that the water and the sponge I was holding was like $100 bills that I was like rubbing on a Mercedes or something like that. Like I just used to use my imagination to take this mundane day-to-day activity and turn it into like this money vibrational experience that I would then like feel in my body. And that's what I mean by embodiment, right? So when we feel the feelings of money coming in, or of rubbing $100 bills on a Mercedes, or receiving $10,000 every time we see a flower in our neighborhood, when we feel into those feelings, we're actually feeling into the vibration of money. And so this choice or this habit of taking a mundane daily activity where you don't need your brain, right? Like I don't need my brain when I'm walking my dogs, so I can use my imagination. I don't need my brain when I'm doing the dishes, so I can use my imagination. So, taking these day to day activities that you do every day anyway, that are never going to go away, that are always going to be things that you have to do every single day, and turning them into something abundant, turning them into an opportunity to tune into abundance now. Because all we have is now. And we always think that after the next thing we do or the next thing we post or the next limiting belief we reprogram, we always think after that thing, then we'll be a match for money. But the shift that really changes everything is when you realize you're a match for money now, as soon as you feel it. As soon as you can feel money in your energy, you are a match for money now. Or whatever it is you're trying to manifest, right? Let's say you're trying to manifest an apartment or a home. You know, when you're walking your dog or doing your dishes or cleaning your current home or like making dinner in your current kitchen, imagine making dinner in the kitchen of your dreams and feel the feelings of what it will feel like when you have so much space and there's like room for every herb and every spice. And there's this big kitchen island with a gorgeous wooden cutting board and this really sharp, luxurious knife that just cuts so precisely, and smelling the smells and feeling the feelings of what it's going to be like in that dream kitchen while you're cooking in your current kitchen, right? So it's taking this thing that you're already doing and making it work in your favor. Because everything you're already doing, you're going to do at a higher level. That's something to kind of feel into right now. You're going to go to sleep in your dream bed in your dream home one day. So what if every time you went to sleep, you felt the feelings of what it'll feel like when you go to sleep in your dream bed in your dream home? When you're making millions of dollars, you're going to drive a car, or maybe you'll have a driver, right? But let's say you're going to drive a car. So every time you enter your car, even if it's a Ford Focus or whatever it is right now, a Prius, or like we have a Nissan Xterra, like whatever your car is right now, what if every time you drove that car, you felt the feelings of your next level up or your dream car, right? Like the vision board car that you expect to receive maybe in a year or two, or maybe more years from now, right? So just take your day-to-day life and amplify it. Take everything you're doing, like putting the clothes on your body every morning. How will it feel when all those clothes are designer? How will it feel when all those clothes are quality materials that look fantastic on your body and make you feel luxurious, uplifted, and powerful? We always think that there's going to be this big dramatic change when we have the money, but the truth is you're going to probably do similar things. You'll have more leisure time, you'll have more help, you'll have, people doing things for you, right? Like you're unlikely to clean your own bathroom when you're making millions. If you do, more power to you, but I will not be cleaning my own bathroom. I mean, I don't clean my own bathroom now. But even more so as I make millions, that'll be like something I can't even imagine doing, right? Right now, if my bathroom was a little dirty and someone was coming over, I would do the work to clean the bathroom if I didn't have time to book a maid. But at that level, when I'm making millions, I will just make sure the maid comes in time for the people to come over, right? I will never clean a bathroom when I am a millionaire. That's just not going to happen. I can't even imagine that, right? So there are some things that will change, but there's a lot of things that won't change. You're still going to work in your business or in your career, whatever it looks like for you. You're still going to work in some way maybe a different role and maybe a different capacity, maybe doing different tasks, but you're still going to work in your career. So what does it feel like to be in the energy of your millionaire self when you're working in your career now, when maybe you're only making $5,000 per month? Do you notice the shift in what you feel called to share with your community if you own a business? Do you notice what changes when you play at that level? It's like you're stepping out of this scarcity reality that you're in right now, you're stepping in to this hyper abundant, this uber abundant reality. And then you're infusing that energy into everything that you do every single day. And the fact of the matter is, you're going to do somewhat similar things at that level. It's just going to look slightly different. So feel the feelings now so you can bring it into your reality faster. And I want to wrap up this episode with speaking a bit to when you feel like you're out of alignment with what it is you want, when you feel like you're really deeply entrenched in a scarcity energy, or you're really deeply entrenched in maybe an unconscious fear or pattern that you can't seem to break. Because I've been there a lot. I've been there a whole lot. So when you're in that state, the first thing I want you to remember is that your mood does not impact your money. So if you're having a bad day, just remind yourself, I can still receive today. Or whatever it is you're manifesting, I can still receive. Even though I'm in a bad mood, I can still receive. That's the first thing I want you to do. The next thing I want you to do is just check in with yourself and ask yourself, what do I need? What do I need right now? What need is not being met right now that I can give to myself right now? 9 times out of 10, we are in a bad mood because some internal need is not being met. And so we think that it's because X amount of money hasn't come in yet that we feel this way. But actually, it's because we didn't go for a walk and get some sunshine today, or we didn't get enough sleep last night, or we didn't check in with our inner child and make sure she has everything she needs, or he or they have everything they need. We often think it's the external thing, like the money or the clients or the manifestation not showing up yet, that is making us feel scarce or is making us feel bad. But 9 times out of 10, it's something else, some need within your own body, within your own being that is not being met, that you're attaching the meaning to the money or the manifestation, right? So, for example, oftentimes when we feel scarce with money, it may be, this is just one example, but it may be that somewhere deep inside you, you feel deeply unvalidated. Like you feel like people don't get you. You feel like you need to prove yourself, right? And so it's not that the money isn't there that's making you feel scarce and is making you feel bad. It's that deep inside your being, you feel like you have to prove something. And that's not a comfortable energy to be in. It feels really bad, to be honest. It feels like you're never good enough. And what do you think manifests when that's what you're feeling on a given day? Never enough, never enough, never enough. Right? So even though, and I'm actually going to release an episode in a couple weeks or maybe about a month that's going to talk about how to feel abundant even when your environment looks scarce. So stay tuned for that if this is not landing with you. But I want you to just play with this idea or lean into this concept or maybe journal about this or meditate on this concept of, even though the money may not be here, is it really the money that is making me feel bad? Or am I feeling bad because somewhere deep in my being a need is not being met? And can you meet that need now? Because then you will automatically, naturally, easily shift into a state of abundance. So for me, I had a huge need for, what was the need for me? Because this was a part that was so powerful in my own unconscious. It was like, it was always looking for what I'm doing wrong. I had this part that was like looking for, what am I doing wrong? 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 And this part was formed in one of my toxic relationships in college. And the reason why this part formed was because of the type of abuse I experienced. It was like narcissistic. So the person I was with did this like technique. It's called love bombing, where they like shower you with love and affection. in the beginning, like so much love and affection that it like hits you like, oh my God, I found the one, I found my soulmate, yada, 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 right? And then because this person was in their own trauma and was in their own state of not being available for love, the switch flipped at some point early on in the relationship. So after this like beautiful showering of love called love bombing, where it's like all of this love and affection, it's so intense, it's so powerful, and it feels very real on the receiving end, then a switch flips and you're like, well, what did I do wrong? How did I make the love go away? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And so that's how that part inside of me formed. And so I kept looking at my manifestations, at my money, at my business, and thinking to myself, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And finally, I realized I didn't do anything wrong. This part of me is just caught in the past. This part of me just thought that she made the love go away, but she didn't do anything wrong. The love was never actually there. It was abuse, right? It was something that I thought I had, but it actually wasn't there. And so when it was gone, I wondered what I did to make it go away, but I didn't do anything wrong, right? It was the other person. It was the abuse, right? And so there can be things like that where we think it's the fact that the money isn't there that is causing us to feel scarce. But oftentimes it's because somewhere deep in our unconscious, maybe in our mind or in our body, there is this unmet need or this trauma that has been repressed or ignored. And so if we're willing to do the deeper healing work, then we can bring those unconscious parts of ourselves to consciousness. And when we bring the unconscious to consciousness, then we get to process, heal, and release them. So that's something to feel into if anything I shared today wasn't really landing with you. And if you are looking for more support with this, check out the Soul Expansion membership. It's not, I don't often talk about it, but we have a Slack channel as part of the Soul Expansion membership. So although it's like a self-paced $111 membership where you go in and you do the healings that you're feeling drawn to on a given day, week, or month, we also have monthly live calls, and we have a Slack membership where you can come on Slack, which is like, a messenger type platform, and you can ask your questions and you can get support from the community or from me. So if you're listening to some of this stuff and you're landing with some things I'm saying, but you do feel like you need a little extra support, get in the membership, right? Like I said, it's only a 3-month minimum. So at most, you're spending $333 over the course of 3 months, $111 per month. But you get to try out all of our healings, which at this point we have almost a full year's worth of healings. I think there's like 10 months at this point. So there's a lot of fucking content, for lack of a better word. There's a lot of fucking content in there that you get to choose and be led to and feel into and try out. And there's the Slack support from not only me, but the larger community. So if you are interested in exploring that, head to mysoulexpansion.com. And in our next episode, I'm going to talk a little bit deeper about some of the things I alluded to at the end of this episode, which is codependency in business and how some of our relationship or attachment trauma can kind of like find its way into our business and into our money and our relationship with those things and cause us to be in a pattern that really does not serve us and can actually be quite harmful over the long term. So stay tuned for that episode. And yeah, if you ever want to give me some love, make sure you head to Instagram. I'm at Kristen Kaczynski. Say hello, share this episode to your stories, tag me, follow me. I share more content on Instagram that is not always shared here on the podcast. So I'd love to connect with you there. And I am excited to see you there. So head over to Instagram when you get the chance, at Kristen Kaczynski, and head to our website if you want to explore anything else I have going on. That's KristenKaczynski.com. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to the show today. Thank you for being a loyal listener. If you've listened more than once, I really appreciate your time, your focus, your energy, and your attention. And so it is my heartfelt request that if you got something out of this episode, please write us a review, rate us, tell us exactly what you want to say, speak from the heart, speak from your soul. No review is too short or too long or anything that's too much or not good enough. It's all good. It's all good. We really love and appreciate your feedback. It just helps us make the show better, and it helps us get the show out to more people. As a reward for your time and energy writing a review, just take a screenshot of it before you hit submit and email it to us at support@KristenKosinski.com, and we will give you free access to my Work Less, Make More, The Vibe Masterclass and Integration Deepening Call. This is over 3 hours of content that was recorded in 2022, early 2022. On my website, I currently charge money for it. I don't remember what we priced it at, but it's not currently for free anywhere else unless you write a podcast review, screenshot that review, and send us an email. So the email address is support@KristenKosinski.com. I would love to gift you this free gift for your time and energy being a listener and writing a review. So if you have a few moments right now, I would really appreciate your words, your feedback, your shares, and your love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I so appreciate you. And I'll talk to you soon.